Keeping hope alive this morning. The Brewers' bats were swinging last night as the team got it done in a must-win Game 6. What's next for the Brew Crew? And the Badgers are back in Madtown for a homecoming matchup against the Fighting Illini. We're breaking down 3 things to watch for during today's game.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good Saturday morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning, Saturday. It is 8 o'clock on this October 20th. I'm Josh Breiter alongside meteorologist Chris Reese, and we saw a beautiful sunrise this morning. Fortunately, the temperatures,
they will be going down, so let's hold on to the hope. You said keeping hope alive, right?
Got
With
it
the Brewers, we're going to do it for the weather this morning. Let's go ahead and look outside right now and show you guys how things are shaping up. We actually do have a beautiful sky, so good morning. How about that? The temperatures, though, have been dropping. We were at 44 degrees. Now we're at 43. Winds are out of the west at 10. Watch what's going to happen. I'm intrigued to show you guys the winds here in a moment. Check it out. 45 in Janesville, 43 here, 40 in Black River Falls. As we zoom things out, we're at 37 in Eau Claire and 36 in Marshfield. What we have going on here is a cold front that's sagging down to the south and east. So you see how temperatures are upwards towards 20 degrees cooler as you work your way farther to the north and west. Well, that is gradually working its way towards us today. And I say gradually, but really it's going to come in here screaming, and you'll know it once the winds get kicking. It's bringing a weak little system in with it as well that has some light showers and some snow showers with it. Those will work their way down south. And then there are the wind advisories just to our west. So yes, it's going to get very, very windy today. Tighten down the hatches because the winds are already starting to pick up. Here, the wind speeds right now near 31 miles per hour in La Crosse, and all of that wind is going to be moving into our part of the world today. So we're going to be watching the wind closer than the radar, but we'll see some light flurries along with some light drizzle later on this morning.
A lot going on.
Yes, sir.
All right, Chris, thank you. Developing overnight, Madison police are investigating a complaint of shots being fired on the city's south side. Police say it stemmed from a possible fight involving 20 people. It happened in the 2100 block of Luann Lane just after 11 last night. Police say the group was gathered in the parking lot of a bar in that area when they heard shots and ran. Right now, Madison police say no one was injured and nothing was damaged, but they are looking for the people involved this morning. It is 8:02 right now. All they need is one more win. After a 7-2 victory overnight, the Brewers have forced a Game 7 in the National League Championship Series. News 3's Melissa Kim is at Miller Park with the very latest.
Well, yesterday before Game 6, Craig Counsell told us that he hoped the Miller Park crowd would help the Brewers beat the Dodgers. And with a little more help from the bats of Mike Moustakas and Jesus Aguilar, the Brewers did just that.
You couldn't describe it as any bigger. I mean, it just, it lifted the roof off the place, and the first inning was loud from then on.
It means a lot to us to see that they're behind us all the way, no matter what. And you were right. Tonight was just so loud. I thought they were going to open the roof. It was just unbelievable.
The electricity in that stadium, once we had that big first inning, it carried us throughout the rest of the game.
Definitely no shortage of experience on this team, from lifelong Brewer Ryan Braun to a guy with World Series experience like Mike Moustakas. And they both know that this team has got it.
We have that never say die attitude. We're never going to quit, no matter what the score is, where we're at in the ball game. Everybody pulls for each other. And that's just a sign of good baseball teams.
I mean, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
It feels more meaningful to have an opportunity to play with somebody who's truly a friend of mine. I've known him since he was in high school. I've known Gio Gonzalez since he was in high school as well. So just adding both of those guys, for me personally, has made playing baseball more enjoyable and this whole experience a little bit more special.
So Josh Hader hasn't pitched since Game 4. That was on Tuesday in LA. So you can definitely expect to see him tonight. Now, when Craig Counsell was asked how many innings he would go, he said 12 and then laughed. So you can definitely expect to see him for at least one inning, I'll say. At Miller Park, Melissa Kim, News 3 This Morning.
With the series tied at 3 games apiece, it all comes down to tonight. Game 7 will be on FS1 at 7:09 our time. Before that game, Badger fans are hoping to be the ones celebrating this afternoon. It is homecoming weekend for Wisconsin. The annual homecoming parade took over State Street last night. Phil the Hill Day also decked out Bascom Hill in pink flamingos as a fundraising effort for the university. This tradition dates back to 1979 when it was actually a prank pulled off by some of the students. The school's football team is looking for some redemption today after last week's tough loss to Michigan. The Badgers returned to Camp Randall for their homecoming matchup against the Fighting Illini today. News 3 Sports Director Jay Wilson has 3 things to watch for during the game.
When the Badgers play Illinois at Camp Randall at 11 this morning, here are 3 things to watch. Paul Chryst says he thinks his team has moved on from its disappointing 38-13 loss at Michigan last Saturday. And recent history would suggest that's true. Right after their loss to BYU in Week 3, the Badgers put together an impressive road win at Iowa, and they've had pretty good success playing Illinois. Wisconsin has won the last 8 meetings. One guy who really needs to get back on track is Badger quarterback Alex Hornibrook. He had a real struggle at Michigan, completing only 7 of 20 passes for 100 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. On the season, though, he still completed 60% of his passes with 8 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, but he looks to get refocused for the second half of the season starting today. And when Wisconsin plays Illinois, something strange always seems to happen. Last year, it was this backward pass to offensive lineman Michael Dieter, who scored his first and only collegiate touchdown. The Badgers shouldn't have to rely on trickery to beat the Illini today, but it's good to know it's there if they need it. And those are 3 things to watch when Wisconsin plays Illinois this morning.
Kickoff is set for 11 o'clock, but the festivities start much earlier. The homecoming Badger Bash begins at 8:30 this morning at the Union South. 6 minutes past the hour right now. Governor Walker and Tony Evers were in a matchup of their own last night. They were not afraid of trade jabs over a number of key issues in the race for the governor, including education, taxes, health care, and roads. The debate kicked off with questions over credibility in light of news that 4 of Walker's former cabinet secretaries are criticizing him. Walker accused Evers of plagiarizing part of the Department of Public Instruction's budget request. Both candidates shrugged off those questions.
I'm not afraid to have people with diverse opinions in my cabinet. For years, I had a cabinet member who wanted to raise the gas tax, and I told the voters clearly I would never raise the gas tax without an equal or greater reduction elsewhere.
If this is the best Scott Walker has, he doesn't have much, I'll tell you that. We dropped a few citations from the back pages of a budget. We talked to the people involved. It was a mistake, and they fixed it.
About whether they'll
a key issue in the race, roads, with news that Wisconsin has some of the worst in the country. Evers criticized Walker's lack of action, while Walker said Evers will hike up the gas tax to pay to fix them.
Tony said the day after the primary, right here in Madison, everything's on the table. He was asked, does that include a $1 a gallon gas tax increase? He said everything's on the table.
$1 a gallon is ridiculous. It's never going to happen. But let's go back to what doesn't work. Scott Walker's policies. Scott Walker has drawn a line in the sand around transportation, and as a result, our roads are crumbling.
Walker said Wisconsin can protect people with pre-existing conditions without keeping the Affordable Care Act. But Evers supported the ACA, encouraging Walker to drop out of a lawsuit that would repeal it. After this summer's historic flooding, people in Middleton are asking for donations to help a woman who has been instrumental in developing the city's award-winning trails and parks. Penny Klein retired last year after 16 years as the city's public lands director. Her farmette experienced devastating flooding this August. The community has already exceeded a $10,000 goal to help her recover. If you'd like to help, Club Tavern is hosting a spaghetti and meatball dinner and silent auction tomorrow to support her. It starts at 2 o'clock and runs until 7. Catholic Charities of Madison is giving out more than 250 gift cards to flooding victims in Sauk County. On October 25th, families can pick up those cards worth $100 apiece at St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Baraboo. They'll be handed out on a first-come, first-served basis starting at 4 p.m. that day. Construction crews in Mazomanie are working on fixing an overpass and washed-out trail damaged during the historic flooding. They're working on the U.S. Highway 14 viaduct and the Wolf Trail, which runs below the overpass. The bridge will remain open to traffic during construction. We're told work should be done by mid-December at a cost of more than $650,000. There is a special celebration taking place this weekend, welcoming everyone back to downtown Sun Prairie. This, of course, comes 3 months after an explosion killed a Sun Prairie firefighter and leveled several buildings. The city is hosting its annual Fall Festival today, and this year's event comes with added meaning. It's the first major event the city is putting on since the explosion. From 4 until 9, the Downtown is Open celebration will encourage people to visit Sun Prairie and support newly reopened businesses near the explosion site. The festival is free, but money raised from sponsorships and beer sales will be split between the Sun Prairie Disaster Relief Fund and the downtown's business beautification efforts. If you're driving through the area, keep in mind the 200 block of Main Street will be closed starting at 1 o'clock. 10 minutes past the hour on this Saturday morning, a very chilly start out there for Badgers fans and the farmers market. Here's a live look over the Capitol to start us off this Saturday morning. We may just be at our high temperature for the day. Yes, you heard that correct. Chris is going to explain why in his first alert forecast. And if you're hunkering in this weekend, there are several shows and movies for you to enjoy. Will has the 3 things to watch on News 3 this morning, Saturday.
And the winds are starting to pick up now across south central Wisconsin. It's going to be one of those days that you will notice the wind out here, and it's only just now beginning to get started. Let's go ahead and show you guys a live look out over the Capitol right now. We do have a beautiful day so far, but those clouds will be on the increase at least for a short time later on. The temperature is at 43. That is about as warm as we are going to get because cooler air is already starting to work its way in from the north. We are at 36 in Marshfield and 37 in Eau Claire. That's a cold front working across the Midwest right now, and already those cooler temperatures are primed and ready to invade their way southward. As they do so, they will be bringing a weak little disturbance that'll touch off some showers along with a few snow flurries as we head into the afternoon. You can see a lot of that right now across the North Woods, and all of that is gradually working towards the south and east. So especially between Madison and Milwaukee, I think that's the best shot to get in on some of that shower and snowflake activity later on. In fact, here's how it will play out. That'll dive towards the south and east. At 11, you'll see some showers, possibly mixed with snow, and it'll be very quickly lived. It'll get out of here in a hurry. Then temperatures behind that continue to drop in a hurry as well. We'll watch temperatures fall into the mid-20s for those overnight lows tonight, and then really slow to warm up as we go through tomorrow morning. But tomorrow as a whole will be a warmer day. But the next thing is going to be the winds picking up. Check it out, especially in La Crosse right now. That's where winds are at 31 miles per hour. As we go farther through the afternoon, those winds are going to be sustained at 20 to 25 miles per hour for a lot of us here in south central Wisconsin. So do be prepared for that. With that cold front coming in, we also have a little bit of a wind chill to worry about. By 2 o'clock, it'll feel like 27 degrees here in Wisconsin. 7:30 tonight, feeling like 23. Now by tomorrow morning, it'll feel like 25, but that will also be the actual wind or air temperature. But with the wind going on today, it's not going to be the best day for raking. A lot of those leaves are going to be coming down, but we'll have better raking conditions as we go through Sunday and Monday. And speaking of the leaves, they are right on the border between near peak and peak, and we'll be seeing those leaves peak in the next a matter of days. Honestly, we should see those leaves really begin to do their thing if they survive the wind that we have out there today. But we will see lots of sunshine behind today's little mixed chance as well. Plenty of sunshine going through just about all of next week before more rain chances do return Friday night and into next weekend, Josh.
Oh my, I can already hear that wind whipping out there, Chris.
Oh yes, it is whipping. So it's going to be a day, I'll probably be outside enjoying this, but it'll be a pretty breezy day.
All right, Chris, thank you.
No problem.
It is 8:16 right now. It is being called the largest event in Notre Dame history, and it's happening tonight. Garth Brooks is performing in the school's football stadium. It's the first standalone concert the field has hosted in its 88-year history. Crews have been working around the clock to transform the stadium into a concert venue. 9,000 people are going to be on the stadium's floor, so much of the preparation being done is to make sure the turf is protected. The more than 84,000 tickets for the now sold-out event were gone in less than 2 hours. The Broadway hit Wicked is celebrating 15 years with a TV special called A Very Wicked Halloween. Ariana Grande took to Twitter this week to promote her role in the upcoming season, or the special rather. The entertainer will be performing the song The Wizard and I, the solo number usually performed by Elphaba. The televised concert will feature former and current cast members, including, of course, the original Elphaba and Glinda, Idina Menzel, and Kristen Chenoweth. A Very Wicked Halloween airs on Monday, October 29th. You don't have to wait to watch something entertaining. Fall just feels like the perfect time to kick back, flip on the TV, and relax. Our Will Loper has your 3 things to watch this weekend.
I wish I could fight bad guys like you.
I seem to mess it up almost every time.
New on home video this week is the superhero film Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Maybe you just need someone watching your back.
Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly team up to take down new bad guys, shrinking and growing along the way.
Dr. Pym, I actually heard what happened to you. You opened up the quantum realm. That's when this crazy creepy ghost who like walks through walls and stuff. Stole your tech. And now she wants to take over the world or whatever. Who would have believed that in your hour of need, you would turn to us?
Not me.
Because we robbed you. Do you remember? That's us.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
Oh! That on the carriage is filthy.
Now they got bigger problems.
I just really need a job. 40 on 2.
This is telemarketing.
Stick to the script.
New on digital streaming is Sorry to Bother You.
Hello, Mr. Davison, Cassius Green here. Sorry to bother.
Lakeith Stanfield stars as a telemarketer who discovers a secret to success.
Let me give you a tip. You want to make some money here? Use your white voice.
My white voice.
I'm not talking about Will Smith's wife, like this young blood.
Hey, Mr. Kramer. This is Langston from Regal View.
As always, we'll be getting that out to you right away.
Sorry to Bother You is available to rent or buy on all digital platforms now.
Everybody ready? Get the show on the road!
And continue to get in the mood for Halloween with The Cabin in the Woods.
I seriously believe something weird is going on.
This isn't right. We should split up.
Yeah, good idea. Really?
Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard bend the horror genre with 5 teens going to the woods as their experience is manipulated by technicians in an underground facility.
Let's go. We got a job to do. Your basic human needs disgust me. Get out of here. Do we have temperature control in this sector? On it. Engaging pheromone mists.
The Cabin in the Woods is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
Let's get this party started.
Happy watching. Those are the 3 things you need to watch. And this is Will Loper for News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
The sequel to the popular Making a Murderer documentary series is also available now on Netflix. The first series told the story of Stephen Avery and his nephew Brendan Dassey, who were convicted in the 2005 slaying of Wisconsin photographer Teresa Hallbuck. The 2 are serving life sentences. The sequel, Making a Murderer 2, will follow their appeals. I hear there's even a few current News 3ers in that. Our time right now is 8:21. We're following NASA's newest way to monitor melting ice caps and rising temperatures. Just ahead, we're climbing on board the IceSat-2 to see how quickly this change is happening and what scientists are hoping to do to stop it. News 3 This Morning, Saturday, will return in a moment.
Good morning. We do have lots of sunshine now, but clouds will be on the increase and temperatures will be falling. We're at 43 degrees as of now, but as we go further through the morning, we'll drop towards about 42 by lunchtime. Then we'll see some increasing clouds and a rain or snow shower. And then by this afternoon at 2 o'clock, we'll see temperatures in the upper 30s with winds out of the northwest at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Josh?
Thanks, Chris. It is 8:25 this morning, and Wisconsin farmers are very busy this weekend taking part in a historic harvest as some get ready to send their hemp plants off to processors. The state launched a pilot program this year requiring farmers to become certified to grow hemp. 250 farmers are licensed to grow it, and more than 1,800 acres were planted this year. The DATCP tests hemp plants to make sure they have less than 0.3% THC. That's the psychoactive chemical found in marijuana. This is the first time since the 1950s Wisconsin farmers have been allowed to harvest hemp. NASA's newest satellite designed to measure ice sheets over the North and South Poles is in its permanent orbit this morning. NASA relies on Operation Icebridge to send planes to Antarctica to study how fast ice sheets are melting. Mark Phillips takes us there.
Too low terrain. The crew on these NASA flights over Antarctica hear the automatic cockpit alarm go off a lot. Altimeter setting. Altimeter setting. It's what happens when you convert a 50-year-old plane into an airborne lab and fly it really low over the Antarctic ice cap. But 1,500 feet is where you have to be for the lasers and radars and cameras to gather the best data they can on what the ice is doing. And what it's doing is melting at an ever quicker rate.
Are you seeing less of it? Is it moving more quickly? Is it melting more quickly?
In very general terms, all three things you just said are correct. Yeah, we are seeing, in general, less ice.
And less ice, mission scientist John Sontag says, means more rise to the world's sea levels. It's not easy being a government climate scientist these days, not when the chief executive of the government rejects or ignores your work. As President Trump confirmed again to Leslie Stahl this week on 60 Minutes.
Yeah, but what about the scientists who say it's worse than ever?
You'd have to show me the scientists because they have a very big political agenda.
Yet up here they insist they have no agenda. They let the data do the talking, and the data is not in denial.
You know, we're not politicians here. We're not policy people. We're just engineers and scientists. I don't know anything about politics, but I do know how to measure changing ice.
Which isn't to say they aren't passionate about what they do.
When I look out the window, I just see like artwork almost. It's just so beautiful.
Lynette Boisvert is a sea ice scientist who isn't here just to look out of the office window.
The better we can understand how the ice reacts with the ocean, the better we can be informed for the future of what could possibly happen with climate change.
Down here at the bottom of the world, there is no politics, there is only science. And the scientists on board can only gather their data and hope somebody's listening.
It's fact. So people can't hide from facts forever, and I think the American people understand that.
Your hope is that the science prevails.
Yeah, my hope is that the science prevails, and I think it will, because in the long path of human history, it always has.
Science and hope, 1,500 feet above the ice.
The advanced ICESat-2 has been traveling since its launch last month from California. It replaced a satellite that failed in 2009. What is 8:28 this Saturday morning? Still ahead, the construction delays you should know about heading into a very busy homecoming weekend at the UW. And hitting home, a nationwide emergency worker shortage is hurting Wisconsin and its response efforts. How you can get involved on News 3 This Morning, Saturday. A nationwide worker shortage hits Wisconsin. How this could impact the state's emergency services and response times when you call 911.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning, Saturday. It is just after 8:30 on this October 20th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Chris Reese has a very chilly weekend forecast just ahead. But first, after a victory overnight, the Brewers have forced a Game 7 in the National League Championship Series. The Dodgers got a quick lead in the Game 6 last night, but it was very short-lived. The Brew Crew would rally in the first inning with 4 runs. They ended up winning 7-2, setting the table for Game 7 tonight. First pitch is at 7:09 at Miller Park, and you can watch the game on FS1. Meanwhile, the Badgers' homecoming game is just hours away at Camp Randall. The team will be taking on the Fighting Illini. It's an early game with kickoff set for 11 a.m. this morning. If you didn't get tickets, you can watch that game on the Big Ten Network. The Badgers sit 2-1 in the conference, and Illinois is 1-2. Happening tomorrow, you have a chance to eat dinner and support a Middleton woman who has been instrumental in developing the city's award-winning parks and trails. Penny Klein retired last year after 16 years as the city's public lands director. Her farmette experienced devastating flooding in August. The community has already exceeded a $10,000 goal to help her recover. If you'd like to help in the effort, Club Tavern is hosting a spaghetti dinner and silent auction tomorrow to support her. It runs from 2 to 7. Right now, construction delays are forcing crews on Charter Street to shut down traffic between University Avenue and West Johnson Street until next year. They've been working on installing a steam tunnel since August. Because they're so far behind, they'll be closing off all lanes of traffic on Charter Street in that stretch until the work is done. Be sure to expect some delays, especially with a lot of folks on campus during this homecoming weekend. Time right now is 8:34, and Chris, we're kind of at our high temperature of the day. Does that make sense?
Yep, that's exactly what's going on. We have one of those anti-normal weather patterns today as temperatures are going to be dropping as we go through the day. So we were at 44 earlier. Now we're at 43. Pay attention to the winds, though. That's going to be a key factor in why those temperatures will be cooler today. They're coming out of the west at 10 miles per hour as of now. But you see a lot of the 40s showing up here across the southern half of the state, 30s once we get towards the northern half of the state. And this cooler air is working its way towards the south and east. We have a pretty potent cold front that's working into the area right now. Eau Claire nearly 15 degrees cooler than they were just 24 hours ago. And as this cold front dives in, it's bringing a weak little disturbance that's coming with it as well. So you've got a little bit of light rain out ahead of that with some light flurries on the backside. And again, that's also going to be bringing that wind as well. We do have wind advisories for the western half of the state, back through parts of southern Minnesota and most of eastern Iowa. And here are the winds right now. They're at 31 miles per hour in La Crosse, 10 miles per hour here in Madison, and that's all going to be increasing as we go throughout the day with that weak system diving southward. By about 11:30 towards 12 o'clock, we'll have that light mix of some rain and some light snow before that gets on out of here. But we're going to be seeing a lot of wind today, so tighten up any of those loose lawn items or Halloween decorations, Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
Dispatch logs show several shots were fired at the Barron home where a missing Wisconsin teen lived with her parents. Officers were responding to a 911 call at the home early Monday when they discovered 2 people dead inside. The call log indicates the call came from a phone belonging to the mother, Denise Kloss. She and her husband, James, were found shot to death. Police say their daughter, 13-year-old Jamie Kloss, was likely home when they were murdered, but was not there when officers arrived. They believe she is in danger, and she is not a suspect in her parents' death, according to investigators. They're looking into more than 1,000 tips in their search for Jamie. A Walworth County deputy is on administrative leave this morning following an officer-involved shooting. The deputy shot and killed a man in Elkhorn Thursday night. Officials say the deputy was involved in a chase and tried to stop the man from driving recklessly several times. During one of the stop attempts, the driver allegedly drove at the deputy, who then shot him. 8:36 right now, and 911 centers in central Wisconsin are now feeling the effects of a nationwide shortage. Emergency dispatch centers across the country have been facing a worker shortage for years. It intensified with the nation's low unemployment rate. Brian Will explains.
Behind me in this building, behind these walls, sits 4 very important people with a very important job. They are the first responders, and they take those 911 calls.
I hope everything's okay, and I'll let the officers know, okay?
Those reassuring voices on the other end of a 911 call are human too. It's not an easy job, and the unsung heroes behind the phone go through a lot in one 10-hour shift.
From, taking a phone call of a mom screaming because her baby's not breathing compared to the next one saying that their dog got loose and just need to know who to call to report that their dog's missing.
There are 18 dispatchers on rotating shifts with 4 people on at a time, and that's still not enough because the number of calls continue to go up every year.
The contacts that we have are professionals, and they make it look easy. It is not a job that anybody can do, and it takes those special individuals that can do this job. That's who we're looking for.
These people are very committed to the community, to Portage County. They are great what they do. We have unbelievable women and men that are up in that comm center.
Portage County, like many counties across the state and the nation, are understaffed in their 911 centers. Only about 50% of candidates who apply will actually make it through the training. Not only do operators have to take calls, dispatch calls, and take in all the information, they also have to give life-saving instructions or even be a person's counselor.
For answering calls of people not knowing who else to call except calling the sheriff's office or dialing 911 because they didn't know what else to do.
If you're up for the challenge,
we need them all the time now, so we have an open enrollment going on.
Waitresses, bartenders, all kinds of different individuals can be professional communication technicians.
Nash says they're looking for people who have great communication skills, can multitask, and think on their feet. Time right now is 8:38 this morning. There's an effort this weekend to make sure kids in Dane County and thousands of miles away have enough food to eat. Volunteers are hoping to fill the Waunakee High School field house with more than 350,000 meals as part of the 13th annual Waunakee Food for Kids program. 75,000 of those meals will be distributed by the Community Action Coalition to kids in our area. Then 275,000 meals will go to an orphanage in Haiti. The Food for Kids program has donated more than 2.5 million meals over the past 12 years. Looking for something to do this weekend? Well, we've got some ideas for you and the family. From a busy weekend at the UW to a rocking show over at the Orpheum, your weekend 608 is just ahead. Thanks for watching News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Well, we do have some sunshine out there now, but the afternoon will be mostly cloudy, windy, and cooler. We'll have a chance of some rain and some snow showers, but let's talk about what's out there now. Temperatures are at 43 degrees. Winds will be coming out of the west at 10 miles per hour at the moment, but they're going to be increasing. It is going to be very windy going throughout the day. Temperatures will be falling as well. 42 by lunchtime. That's a period when we will see some light rain showers along with a flurry or two. By 38 degrees, we are looking at, or by 2 o'clock, we're looking at temperatures near 38 degrees. Well, there you go.
What is going on, Mother Nature?
I know.
All right. What is the weekend in the 608?
And here's a look at what's going on around town.
First, how about a little Stairway to Heaven? Get the Lead Out. A Led Zeppelin cover band from Philadelphia is recreating the legendary music of the blues-influenced mystical rock band. This one is tomorrow night starting at 7:30 over at the Orpheum Theater.
And it's also time to get the red out. It is homecoming on the UW campus. The tradition started back in 1911. The Badger Bash started a few minutes ago, and the Badgers will face Illinois this morning at 11.
Downtown Sun Prairie is officially back open for the first time in 3 months. The city is hosting its annual Fall Festival today starting at 11. Then from 4 until 9, the city is hosting its Downtown is Open celebration, encouraging people to visit Sun Prairie and support newly reopened businesses near the explosion site. The festival is free, but money raised from sponsorships and beer sales will be split between the Sun Prairie Disaster Relief Fund and the downtown business beautification efforts.
As usual, you can pick up a copy of this month's Madison magazine for all of the best in our area.
What is feeling a little fall-like out there, maybe a little bit more like winter later today. A very crisp morning for the Farmers Market Pumpkin Patch or the Badgers game.
And you're looking live over the Capitol this Saturday morning. I'll have your full forecast coming up.
But first, happy birthday to Lila, Amani, and all the other kids turning 3 today. This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
You're waking up to a lot of sunshine so far today, but that could be changing up a little bit as we go through the rest of the afternoon and evening. Temperatures will also be moving in the opposite direction of what we're used to, which we've talked about multiple times so far during the show. 43 degrees right now. Winds are coming out of the west at 10 miles per hour, and that's a key factor in the change that we will experience as we go throughout the day. So 45 in Janesville, 43 again here in Madison. Check out Black River Falls at 40. That's the line where we start to see the upper 30s coming into the picture, and all of this, folks, is gradually working its way towards the south and east, or shall I say screaming its way anyway. We do have temperatures that are substantially cooler than they were at this time yesterday. We were at 7 degrees cooler in Madison, nearly 14 degrees cooler as we come into Eau Claire, and this entire front is bringing a little bit of a weak disturbance with it. That's going to touch off chances for some weak showers, along with the possibility of some flurries. So you see a lot of that activity going on across the Northwoods right now. We're going to follow this as it works its way towards the south, but it's going to be losing some of its energy as it does so. So we're going to be looking kind of at a stringy radar somewhat that'll have some light sprinkles and some flurries with it, likely coming through right around 11 o'clock towards lunchtime, and that won't last long at all. That'll get to our south and east rather quickly. Temperatures will be at 38 by the time we get you towards 2 o'clock, and then dropping into the mid-20s for those overnight lows tonight. Winds right now are at 10 miles per hour. They're at 31 miles per hour in La Crosse. Watch how winds continue to pick up across the area as we go through the rest of the morning. By 2 o'clock, we could see sustained winds around 22 miles per hour, right? But remember that I told you that the temperature would be 38 degrees at that time. That's why the wind chill could be right around 27. So even if you plan on being out today, just wear a coat, bundle up. It is certainly going to be quite chilly out there, but those winds are going to be taking off a lot of the leaves that we have on the trees. So you're really going to want to rake. Today, not the best day, of course, but tomorrow and Monday will be better for that raking. And speaking of leaves, we're actually coming into that peak season now. We are just days away from being near peak when it comes to the fall color out there. I know it's not the best season, but color is color, so we'll take it around this time of the year. More sunshine does return through Sunday and throughout most of next week. By the end of next week and into next weekend, we will have more rain chances along with some possibility of some overnight mixes. So, Pet Walk. Hi, DJ. Hi, Heidi and York. How are you all? That is a beautiful day, but I don't think they're going to be outside cuddled today. I think they're going to be indoors with the wind and the cool temps.
I was going to say, it might be one of those days to hope that the leaves will blow over to the neighbor's lawn. But my luck, the wind direction would change and they'd all end up in my yard.
Well, just play it safe and don't have a lawn. Just have a balcony. There you go.
Be smart. All right, well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us, and check out this photo. This is from Mark near Lake, Wisconsin, and you were telling me about those clouds earlier.
Yeah, so these are known as Madison clouds. Any weather nerd freaks out over these clouds because there's not a lot of science into what causes them. They're awesome, but they are usually associated with severe weather.
That is a beautiful shot. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. If you'd like to share a photo, you can post it to our Channel 3000 Facebook page, Twitter, or Instagram, and use that hashtag MyNews3Morning, and we'll share our favorites right here on the show. It is 8:51 this morning, and there's more news all day long here on News 3. On our news at 6 and 10 tonight, we're heading to Sun Prairie as the community celebrates how far they've come since the summer's explosion. But first, here on your news this morning, Charlie Brown thought he saw the Great Pumpkin, but check this out. One of the biggest pumpkins ever grown in the Midwest was picked this week. We'll hear from the proud farmer when News 3 This Morning Saturday continues. Welcome back at 8:55. That's a great pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Remember when one of the classic cartoon characters thought he had a big pumpkin? The only difference, this one is real.
And it's really big. Our sister station in Chicago has more on the man who grew one of the biggest pumpkins in the Midwest.
There's a lot of work that actually goes into getting a pumpkin this size.
1,510 pounds, top of the state, and it all starts with the right seed.
They're easy $400, $500 a piece. It's a bit of a risk. It's slightly a gamble. You pay $500 for a pumpkin seed, it might not even sprout.
Next up, the soil.
Send it off to the lab, get it tested, we get the results back, and we add the amendments in so that we have the perfectly balanced soil.
Joe Adkins even heats the soil with underground coils in the spring to jumpstart the growth.
It's almost like magical.
Magic, like the speed of the growth.
Rapid growth stage of these giant pumpkins, they can grow 50 pounds a day.
Another key, the water, and lots of it. Rainwater is best because it's filled with nutrients.
With the city water, they just don't grow as well. All right.
Like a surgeon, Adkins sets up his tools and gets ready to go to work carving.
You can already see, look, here's a nose here, and there's going to be some eyes right in here. I start carving them in July sometimes. The best part is absolutely when you get to the carving of the pumpkins. Carving this style here for maybe like 10 years or so.
Oh my gosh, that is a big pumpkin.
I know, that's enough pumpkin spice for all of America in that one pumpkin. Wow, I can't fathom that.
Crazy.
Well, the pumpkin in the sky will be the theme as we go through the rest of the week. We just have to get through a little bit of rain and some light snow today, and that's going to be spotty in nature, but we will see plenty of sunshine through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, keep going with me, Thursday. Plenty of sunshine until we get you towards Friday of next week. That's when the clouds will come back, along with additional rain chances towards next weekend as well. But throughout the whole week, temperatures will be staying cooler than average, so enjoy the sunshine while you can. Soak it up. We are certainly into the heart of fall here and that fall-like weather.
All right, Chris, thank you, and thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning from 6:30 to 8.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.